it's now successfully get that our year, and also it's getting that our name, our HSC. So here if you also want to add that name, you can actually use it. So in that case only you have to use it like as a year. Okay, year, I simply added that year, and that will be for the college. You can also use that as a college, okay, and also that will be for the degree, so I make it as a degree. So now this will be fine. If you now click as a save all, now that should be also display that things like that way. Okay, that is a year, and then the college, and then the degree. Okay, so spelling mistake, you can see that will be as a degree. Okay, I make it as a degree. So now that should be displayed as a degree. Now if you go, perfect. So now our this part is also successfully working, which is really great. So now in our next video, I want to work for our another part that will be for the project. And for the project here, I will also add this type of one of the functionality. Here one of the slicker will be loaded, and from here how many area you have actually reached, automatically this will be also executable. So that will be very interactive one of the things, and after that will be as a contact me. So in our next video I will work for our projects. And if you go to that our backend, and into the backend I have also created 2 of this project, right? So now that is of this project that should be displayed. So how to do this work, but I want to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully load all that our experience data and also the education data, and now everything is worked successfully. And if you go to that our home is successfully completed, that is about is successfully completed, experience is now also successfully completed. Now here after that, now I want to work for our another component that will be as a client project view. I have from to the backend, I have already added some of the projects. Right now they have the 2 projects. So now that is our project data. Before I have already stored it into this our project table in our database, and into this database is actually the project table data, right? So now that is the data I want to do. I want to simply get it, and I want to visible it in here. Okay, that means here, and our after that our design will be like it. Here I want to also use some of the progress chart, and that is my project that will be display here. All that our project now one by one that should be displayed in particular that position. So now let's design our project part. So for doing this, first of all, I want to go back to that our client view, and into this client view now we have to go to that our project. So that is our project, and that is our project index. So into the, if you go to that our main page, and from to the main page I have also passed that our project all the data by the props data as a data. So now here first job is we need to destructure it. I want to destructure in our client project view. Here I want to destructure it, and also first of all I want to check it successfully get all that our data or not. So into the console log, I want to simply check it. Okay, that will be our data. So into this data area I want to check it by the name as a project. Okay, by the project I want to check it. So let's check this out. If you now want to check it, click as a save all. I want to check it by the name as a project. If you now go to that our site, and here we want to refresh it, and now if you go to that our inspect, and then go to that console, and in here I want to search it by the name as a project. And yes, you can see right now they have the 2 project. As I told you in our database, they have the 2 project, right? So now that is a 2 project is successfully visible. So now simply I want to get this data. So here if you want to do this work, now we have to work in our project index page. Okay, so now I want to right now we don't need it. I want to make it as a comment out, and first of all I want to import some of the essential things. Like here I want to import it. I want to import that our use ref. Okay, that will be the use, and then the ref, and use ref that will be comes from the React. Here I want to use it, and also after that I want to take that our animation wrapper. So I also want to import it. I want to import that our animation wrapper, which I have already created into our client view animation wrapper. That is our animation, right? So here I simply loaded that things from here, and also want to import some of the things from our farmer motion. So from to the farmer motion, that is on the function as a motion. Okay, motion I want to do and to take it, that will be transformed to the farmer motion. And also for the farmer motion, there is also another function as a use scroll. So I want to also call that function, that will be the use scroll. Okay, so here also I want to do and to take it. Great. And then I want to take our another one, our use route. So I make it as an input. I want to use it our use router, and this use router I don't want to use it as a next router. Here I want to use that as a next navigation. Okay, so from to the next navigation, I want to access that our use router. In fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you, and now it's totally fine. So essentially everything I have actually loaded that will be needed for design this our part. Okay, that means this part now I want to design. So our first things is we need to update that our my projects. So here if you want to do this work, we have to do, I have already destructured it, and right now I remove that this div, and here I want to return it. So that will be our return function. So into the return function I take one of the div, and into this div area I want to put some of the class name. Here I want to now design it as a maximum wide skin will be as a Excel. Okay, same things that I have done before. Margin that will be the margin top I want to do and to use it as a 24. And then here I want to use on the margin button I want to make it as a 6. And then for the small skin, okay, here I want to use that is small skin, our margin top. For the small skin margin top I want to use it as a 14. And then I also want to use it for the small skin, our margin button I want to use as a 14. Okay, that will be the 14. And px I want to use it pasting left as a 6. And then I want to use it for the small skin, that will be as a px will be as a 8. Okay, here I want to use it as a 8, and then that will be as a mx. Okay, mx will be as a auto. I simply added that auto, and also here after that our id will be needed. I put that our id, and our id will be which one. Here I want to do, if you go to that our navbar, into this navbar I have also assigned all that our ids. Like that is our experience IDs, that will be the project ID, right? So now I want to take it, that will be here, I name it as a project ID. So here by this ID now we are able to access all that our experiences, and now project that should be also work. So I put it that ID will be as a project. Okay, so great. So now here after that I want to load that our animation. Okay, so from here I want to take it. I take it our animation wrapper is started, animation wrapper is ended. Okay, so in this animation wrapper area I want to put some of the class name, and here I want to use it as a padding. Okay, padding y, that means padding our top position. I want to use it like as a 6, and also for the small skin I want to make it as a padding our top, that will be as a 16. Okay, I make it as a 16. Great, so I simply update, that will be also responsive. Then I want to take another div, and into this div area I want to put some of the class name. Here I want to use some of the flags I want to use it as a column, and justify I want to make it into the center position. Item also that will be into the center position, and then I want to add some of the row. Okay, row is restart will be as a 2, and for the small skin or row, okay, row and start will be as a 1. I simply loaded this div, which I actually used it before our previous one. Like here, if you go to that our previous one, into this previous one area I have also used the same functionality. Like you can see, that is actually one of the h1 tag. So better I want to copy it. Okay, I copy the same things from here, I copy it, and now into this our project. So from to this our experience I have already done the same things, right? Now better I copy it. Now in our project area, after that I want to paste it. Okay, so that will be our class name. There is a leading, each and everything will be just like that same. Here we don't need to change anything, only our name should be now changed, that will be as a projects. So I make it as a projects. Okay, and that will be index in ID, and also they have the 2 tags, our 0 index, because if you go, so that will be our 0 index, that will be our 1 index, right? So when that will be equal 1, then that will be added that class, our custom class, as a text green main, rather than that will be as a black. Great, so now that should be display in here. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all, and now if you go, and here right now that is our my education, and after that here you can see that is a my project is successfully visible. So now here after that I want to load one of the circle, that means this type of one of the circle I want to load it. So let's do that work. For doing this here, after that our h1 I want to simply take one of the SVG, that will be the SVG. You can see that is SVG property. Here I simply loaded SVG started, SVG ended. So into this SVG area I want to pass on the ID. I just name it as a progress. That will be as a progress. So I use it as a progress. Okay, so that will be as a progress. Great. And here after that I want to set some of the wide. So that will be as a wide. I want to make it as a 100. And also I want to put some of the height for this progress bar. That will be also I want to make it as 100. And also here that is another property as a view box. That will be as a view box property. Here I want to use it as a 0. That will be the 0, 100 and 100. Okay, so that is our default one of the code I want to use it. And now into this SVG area I want to call that our circle. So that will be another property as a circle. So circle. You can see there is a circle property. I want to simply load that circle property and I add it. So into the circle property area here, we by default we will get some of the property values. Like here I want to use it as a CX property. So that is on some of the SVG property, actually default property. Now I want to use it. Like here that will be I want to use it as a CX. CX will be I want to make it as a 50. Okay, that will be as a 50. And then also that will be another one. I want to take it as a CY. That is actually our X oriented, that means horizontally and vertically. So I want to use it as a circle vertically. That will be I want to also make it as a 50. Okay, great. And then also that will be a rotation. I want to use it as a 30. That will be as a 30. And then our another one I name it as a path length. Path and then the length. Okay, that is a path length one of the property, and this property path length I want to use it as a 1. And then also I want to use on the class name. That will be as a class name, and then class name I want to use some of the class name as a stroke. Okay, that will be stroke will be custom as a black. So I make it as a black color, means that will be as a 000. Okay, so now that will be actually a black color that should be loaded. Great. So here I successfully loaded that our SVG, and now here ended. And now into this position I want to load on the motion. That will be the motion. I want to use it as a now circle. Okay, that will be the motion circle. Here I simply loaded that motion circle, and in particular that area also we have to add some of the property. That will be like this one. Better I copy it from our circle. And now in our motion circle area I want to paste it. Okay, so now that will be the same as a CX will be 50, CY will be 50, and then R will be 30. Length I want to take it as a 1. Class name I want to now change it. That means here when that will be actually fillable, then that will be changed that our color. When I run it, everything will be more clear to you. Here I want to use it as a stroke. Stroke will be like as a green main. Okay, so green, and then the main. So that will be the green main color. The custom color that I have already said, that will be display in here. And now also after that I want to use some of the style. So that will be as a style. I want to load that style, and the style will be here. I want to use it as a, that is actually our path length. Okay, so here I want to use it as a path length. Path length will be, and here I want to use some of the use scroll, which I have also loaded. That is our use scroll, which I loaded that things from our farm motion. So now I want to do in here. Okay, in here. Like that is actually our return, right? So into this return, and before this return area here I want to simply first of all take it. So I take on the constant, and here I want to name it one of the scroll x progress, and that is the scroll x progress. I want to use it from our use scroll, which I have already imported. You can see that is a use scroll I have imported from our farmer motion. Here I simply loaded, and in here I want to pass it. I want to pass that will be our container. Okay, I name it as a container. container. So there is a container, and container property will be here. We have to load that our useDef in particular that position. So that is the reasons here I want to simply take another constant variable. I take another constant variable and just name it as a container ref. Okay, I name it as a container ref, and container ref we will able to use it from to the our useDef, which I have already loaded before. Now here I want to make it as a null value. By default initialize value that will be as a null. Here I want to pass it. I want to put into the container. I want to pass that our container that is a container ref. Okay, when I run it, everything will be more clear. And also I want to take that on the router. So I take another constant variable as a router. Okay, that will be the router. Router will be our use router that I have already loaded. So that will be the use router. Okay, here I simply call that our use router. I name it by the router, and this use router that here we are using that next navigation. Okay, great. So now in here that is already scroll x progress. So that is actually scroll x progress. I want to pass it into the style path length area. Here I want to pass it. So now let's check this out. If you click as a save all, now that should be only display as a black, something like that. Here you can see now that is actually display that things like this one. So here now when you add that multiple projects, then our this scroll bar will be executed. Okay, so here that will be executed by the stroke color rather than that will be as a green color. So how to do this work? Better to continue this process in our next video. I want to design our this part and all that our project that should be displayed in here or on the scroller that will be also executed. So how to do this work? Better to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully designed our my project, and that is successfully visible one of the circle. So now here after that I want to load this type of one of the div. Okay, here I will load all that our project related all the data. So let's do that work. For doing this here that is our animation is ended. Okay, so I want to simply close a little bit here, and now after that that is our animation is ended. Now here after that I want to take another animation. Okay, that will be the animation wrapper. I want to simply loaded another animation wrapper. So into this animation wrapper area, now first of all I want to use one of the UL, and into this UL area I want to use some of the class name. Okay, here that will be I want to use on the custom class that I have already created. Like if you go to that our global, and that means in our global CSS, into the global CSS I have already created another class. Okay, here you can see that is a project wrapper. I want to simply use this class. So better I close it, and here I want to use that our class as a project wrapper. Okay, I have already used that CSS class, and in here I want to pass that our references, and references will be which one? Here that is the circle references. I have already take it. Okay, here I have already take it by the name as a that is our container ref. Here I want to simply pass it. I simply pass that our ref will be as a container ref. So why I'm actually passing it, don't worry, everything when I run it, everything will be more clear to you. So here I get that all that our API data, I structure it by this name as a data. So now with this we can able to access that our database related project details, right? That means project all that field data. So now here with this data I want to access it if there have any data, and I want to access that our data length, right? So that will be the same process. I name it as a length. That will be the data length, and into this data length area I want to put this condition if there have any data length. I want to put it, and that will be by this data. I want to run that our map, that will be the data map, and here I want to simply get all that our data by the name as an item, and also our second parameter will be our index, and then that will be another callback function. Here I simply loaded that callback function. Okay, so if there have any data, then that should be displayed this data, and else that will be displayed as a null value. Okay, here I simply pass it as a null. Great. Here I simply pass it. Now in particular that position we have to design our this type of one of the things. Okay, here now let's build it. So here if you want to do this work here, after that I want to simply take one of the li is started, li is ended, and into this li area I want to put some of the class name. Wide I want to make it as a full, and I want to make it as a flags. Item will be as a scratch. Okay, item will be as a scratch, and carousel I want to make it as a pointer, And also here I want to pass that our key, that will be the key will be which one? Key will be our, that is the index data. Okay, here I simply load it, and now after that I take another div, and into this div area I want to put the class name. I want to use that as a border will be as a 2. Okay, border 2 I want to use it, wide will be as a full, and then I want to make it as a relative, and then here I want to make the border our custom color as a green, and green will be as a main color. Okay, so here I want to use it as a green color, and I want to use the transition will be as a all, and rounded I want to use it, rounded will be as a large. Okay, I want to make it as a rounded large, and then I want to make it as a flex, and flex column I want to use it as a flex column. I want to use it. Okay, here I simply loaded this one, and now after that I want to take another div, and into this div I want to put another class name. Okay, here I simply loaded another class name, and into this class name I want to make it as a flex padding from every sided. I want to take some of the space, so that will be as a padding 4. Okay, here I use it, and flex column I want to use it, that will be a flex column, and for the Excel I want to make it as a flex. Okay, that will be a flex column, or row I want to use it, that will be a flex row, wide will be as a full. Okay, and then also I want to use it as item will be as a scratch, and also for the Excel I want to make it as the item will be into the center position, so that will be responsive. Okay, here I simply make it as a center, and now after that I want to take another div, and into this div area here I want to put another class name, that will be as a flex. Here I want to use it as a order will be as a 2, and then for the Excel I want to use it, that will be the order will be as a 1. Okay, and then I want to take another div, and into this div area I want to put another class name. Here I make it as a flex column, so I want to use that a flex column. Here I simply loaded the flex column, and then I want to load another h3 tag. Okay, here I want to use it as h3, and into this h3 I want to use on the class name. Here that will be our text size will be, I make it as a 3xl, and text color will be as a black. I make it as a black 600. I want to use it, and also I want to make it as a capitalize one of the class. Here I want to use it, and font I want to use it as a bold. Okay, that will be as a bold. Great, so here I successfully loaded. Better if you select this div is ended. I want to take total things little bit left side, then that will be easy for you. Now in particular that area I want to display. Here I have already take all that our data, that means from here we can now able to access all that our project related data information, right? So here I simply take it by the name as a 8 item. So now here with this item I want to visible our field name. Here if you go to that our database, like right now I want to display our field name as a name field, so I simply copy it. Now here that will be as a name. Okay, so now our name that should be a display. So first of all I want to check it. If you click as a save all, and now if you go, you can see now that is successfully visible that our project name, which is really great. Right now I have the 2, so that is the reason this 2 is visible. And now I want to do after that, okay, after that h3 I want to take another p tag, and I want to take another that will be as a p tag. I want to use it. P tag is started, P tag is ended. Okay, so P tag is ended, and now into this P tag area I want to use some of the class name, and here I want to name it as a text will be as ASM, that means is small, and here margin top I want to use it as a 2, and text black color I want to use it, text black I want to use it as a 500. Okay, that will be the text 500. I also want to make it as a capitalize. That will be the capitalize. I want to use it, and font I want to make it as a bold. Okay, and here I want to display that our name. So here if you go, I want to do that will be actually our date means which one? Date means here if you go to that our database, that is also by default as a created ad. So that is a created ad. I want to access it. And here there is also different type of format. Here I want to change that our format. Here if you want to change that format, in that case we have to I have already get all the data by the item. right? With this item, I want to access it or created that, and here that will be a split. I want to call that a split function, and here that will be the time. I want to use it as a t, and then the t data by this format it should be get that our first index data, so that will be the array will be as a 0. Okay, now our created that will be displayed in our another format. Now click as a save all, and now if you go you can see now that is display that things like that way, which is really great. Now after that I want to also display that how many if you go how many skill maybe. Yeah, that is actually the technology, right? So all that our technology, if they have any comma, then that will be actually separated. Now I want to visible this technology. So here if you want to visible it, after that our p tag I want to take another div. I take another div is started, div is ended, and into this div area I want to put some of the class name. I want to use some of the grid. Okay, that will be the grid, and I want to also use some of the gap. Okay, that will be the gap. I want to use it as a 2, and also I want to use on the margin top. I want to use like as a 5. Okay, that will be as a 5, and I want to use grid column 2, grid, and then the column I want to use it as a grid column 2 in here. Height will be as a full. Okay, and also maximum I want to use it a maximum height, so that will be as a maximum height. I want to use some of the custom height. Custom height means here I want to make it as a 200. Okay, that will be as a 200 pixel. I simply use it, and also wide will be as a full. Great. So I simply loaded down the div, and now into this div area I want to display that our technology. So here if you want to display it, so that will be I have already get it by the name as an item. Now with this item I want to, if there have any technology, I want to simply display it. So our field name, if you go to that our database, into this database there is a technologist. I copy it. Now that will be as a technologies, and into this technologies area here also we have to split our which things. Here if you go, we have to split our, that is the comma, right? So there is a comma we have to split. So I want to call that our split function, and split that will be split that our comma. Great. Okay, and here now I want to map it. So that will be as a map, because multiple one what a time that should be now displayed. So here I name it as a tag. Okay, tag item, whatever name actually choose, and then here I want to call callback function, and in here now I want to visible it. So here if you also want to visible it, here I want to take another div. Okay, I take another div is started. I want to take another div is started, div is ended, and now in particular that position I want to use on the class name. Class name will be wide will be as a full, and then I want to use it as a flex. Okay, and then justify I want to make it as a start, and item I want to make it as a center. So that will be in particular that position, and in here I want to load one of the button. Okay, I take one of the button, so that will be the button is started, button is ended. So into this button area I want to first of all display that our total data I have already take it by the name as a take item. Now let's check this out, our item is visible or not. Now click as a save all, and now if you go here you can see that is successfully visible, right? So there is a Laravel, PHP, React. Now that same things now I want to simply update some of the classes. So for the button I want to use some of the class name. That will be here as a class name. There will be a class name, and into this area I want to that is a class name area. I want to use some of the white space. Okay, that will be the white space, and white space will be as a no wrap. Here I want to use this class, and text I want to use it as a ellipse. Okay, that is ellipsist. Here I want to use it overflow. I want to make it as a hidden. Padding our top I want to use it as a 3, and then also I want to use some of the wide, custom wide, like as a 120 pixel. That will be as 120 pixel, and then I want to use some of the px. Okay, padding left I want to use it like as a 6, and then I want to use some of the border. That will be as a border. I want to use some of the custom border as a 2. Okay, that will be as a 2 pixel, and we simply use it as a 2 pixel. And border color, so I make it as a border green. That will be our main color that I have already used it multiple times. That is our custom color as a main. Okay, and then I want to use that our background color, that will be as a white. I make it as a FFF, then that means that will be actually white. Okay, here I successfully updated this button, but I want to take it a little bit left side, so that is our white. Great. Now after that I want to also update that our text color will be as a black, so that will be the hash 000. So now that should be as a black, and also I want to use that font I want to use as a semi bold, that will be as a semi bold. And then I want to use some of the rounded will be, I want to use it as a large, and then text I want to use will be as a XS, that is the XS text. And then I want to use also as a tracking, and tracking will be as a wild set, so here I want to don't use it. And for the hover I also want to change some of the shadow I want to use that green will be our main color, that means that will be the deep blue, that is our theme color. I have already created that class. And then I want to use it as a transition will be as all, and outline, okay, outline, sorry, that will be the out, and then outline I want to make it as a none. And now that should be a display perfectly. Now let's check this out. I want to click as a save all. Okay, I want to click as save all, and now if you go, you can see now that is actually display that things like that way. Perfect. Right now they have the 3, they have the 2, that is 3, 2 is successfully visible. Okay, successfully visible. And now our next part will be here, that should be some of the button for the website and for the Git link. Okay, so better I want to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully designed and visible all that our project data, and into this project table they have also another 2 of this field. One is the GitHub link, another is the website link. Right now I want to simply add this type of one of the design in here. So let's do that work. For doing this, first of all I want to go to that our project, and from to the project I want to go outside from to this div. Okay, here if you select this div as a flags P4, which I have already take it, and that is the div is started and this div is ended in here. Okay, so now I want to go outside from to this div. Better I want to close little bit all that our div. Okay, so that is our all the div. So now from here I want to go outside from to this area, and here after that, okay, here I have already load everything. So now here after that I want to take another div. Okay, simply take another div is started, div is ended. So now into this div area I want to put some of the class name. Here I want to make it as absolute, that will be the absolute, and here I want to use some of the wide will be as a full, and also I want to use some of the button, sorry, that will be as a button, and button I want to use it as a G0, and justify I want to make it into the center position, and also I want to use it as a flags, and then that will be I will put some of the gap, that will be as a gap I want to use it as a 2. Okay, great. And now here after that I want to take one of the button, so that will be the button is started, button is ended, and into this button area I want to use some of the our class name, so that will be the class name. Here I want to use some of the padding will be from the there decided, and then I also want to take that our text white as a 300 I want to use it, and then font I want to use it as a semi bold. Okay, I want to use that semi bold font, and then also text size I want to use it as the custom one as a 14 pixel. Okay, I use it, and also I want to use that the tracking will be as a width set. Here I want to use it, and busy, and then green main I want to use it our custom color, and also I want to use it as a transition I want to make it as all, and outline outline I want to make it as a none. And then here I want to display our button name will be as a website, that will be as a website, and also better I copy the same things, I copy it and I paste it. Now that will be another one as a GitHub. Okay, GitHub. Great. So now that's all. Now if you check it, click as a save all, and now if you go, you can see that is actually successfully visible. Our you can see now that is successfully visible website and then GitHub. So here I have already put some of the link, right? So when you click it, then that should be redirected to that our specific this link area. Here if you go to that our database, I have already used some of the website like this one, and there is a GitHub link, right? So now when you click it, that should be redirected to the particular this area. So that is the reasons before I have already loaded our route. Here if you go, you can see that is actually our use router, which I have already used it from to the next navigation. That is a use router. So now throughout this router, I want to execute this functionality. So if you want to do this work, better I copy it, and now in here into this our button area, I want to use it as an on click. That will be the on click function, and here that will run the callback function. I simply call it, and then with this router I want to call one of the method as a push method, and into this push method area I want to push it. Right now I have already get all the data by the variable here, by the variable as an item, right? I have already fetched this data, so that is actually our data. I fetch it by the name as an item. Now with this item I want to access it. With this item I want to access that our field name in our database as a website. Okay, so that will be a website. I copy it. Now that will be as a website, and also do the same things. I copy it, and here for this button I paste it, and here that will be our push item for the GitHub, and for the GitHub our database field name as a GitHub. I copy it. Now that will be as a GitHub. Okay friend, great. Now let's check this out, it's working or not. Click as a save all, and now if you go and if you put your cursor, and here if you click it, now that should be redirected to the our appropriate this website, which is really fine, right? And also here that is actually one of the circle bar I have already loaded, so that will be actually executed when you have that multiple data. Better I want to go back to that our project, and here I want to use some of the another project, like I want to create some of the things from my references. Like here I want to use it as a multi-restaurant. Okay, I copy it. Here I want to use that another name as a Laravel 11 multi-restaurant food order. This type of one of the project name, and also I want to use it like that will be our this website. Here I want to simply use that our website link, and technology I'm using like right now I use it as a React.js, Express.js, and also I want to use it as a CSS and JS or JavaScript. Okay, I simply use it like this type of one of the technology, and GitHub link. Right now for education purpose I want to use the same link. Now click as the add project. Now there is a new project is loaded, and if you now go, that should be also loaded another one. If you refresh it, you can see that is successfully visible. That things like that way, which is great. And also I want to take another one, like build Canva project. Okay, I make it as a Marn Canva project. Here if you go, that will be as a modern React and build Canva project. Okay, better I make it as a complete Canva project. I copy it, and now I want to add another one, name it as a Canva project, and for the Canva project that will be our URL. I want to use that website. Technology, I want to use the same technology, and then git link, I use the git link, add project. Now that should be loaded another one. If you refresh it, yes, you can see that is successfully loaded, and that is our scroller is also working, and that is our, you can see that is actually our progress bar is also working for our specific this is circle. Okay, so now that is successfully working. If you also want to add another one, better I want to take another one like as a booking. Okay, here I want to use it as a build complete our hotel booking reservation. I want to simply copy it. Here I want to use another one, and then that will be our URL. I want to update education purpose. I want to use that same technology. Okay, same technology, or you can also use it as a Vue.js. I want to use it as a Vue. Okay, Vue.js, Vue.js and JavaScript. Here I want to make it as a Laravel. Okay. And then that is git link. I want to use this one. Now click as add project. That is successfully added, and now without refreshing everything is happening, and you can see that is also now successfully visible, which is really great. Okay, and also our progress bar is successfully working. That is, my progress is successfully working. Okay friend, I hope you like it very much. Here it's also successfully working, and that is our project is working, about, progress, project, everything is working. Perfect. So next video I want to work for our another REST part that will be as a contact us. So here I will actually create one of the contact form to this area. When you send some of the messages admin from to the admin panel, I will actually get all that our requested messages. I will load that things in our admin content view page. Okay, so first of all next video I want to execute this form in our client contact view. Okay, that is this component area I want to load it. So how to do this work in our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our project positions. Now it's totally dynamic. All that our dynamic data is now successfully visible. Our circle is also successfully working. So now friend, in this video I want to complete our another part that will be for the contact. Okay, so here I want to actually load one of the contact form data. I will insert this data into this our database table. Here I will create another table for the contact. So contact messages I will receive it, and then from to the admin panel, which user will be logged in, main admin, he will be able to display all that our contact, this contact that should be displayed in here. So that is a simple one of the process. Now in this video, step by step I will show you everything with the live example. So for doing this, our first job is here. I want to first of all create another new database table, because as I told you, into this another database table area I want to do and to insert this data. So let's do that work. For doing this, I want to go back to our project, and now I want to close everything. And here we have to go to our database. That means that is our models, and into this models area now I want to create another new database table. Okay, so that will be the name. I name it as a contact.js. Okay, now from to the about I want to copy everything. Okay, from to the about I copy everything, and now in our contact area I want to paste it. So now that will be our schema. I want to change it. That will be as a contact. So that will be as a contact schema. And here I simply loaded that new Mongoose schema. And here that will be actually 3 of this field will be needed. One is the name, another is the email, another will be as a message. Right, so I want to update it. So that will be the field name as a name. Another one I want to name it as an email, and also another one I name it as a message. Okay, and all that field I want to make it as a string. So that will be as a string. Great. And also here I make it as a time spent will be as a true, and here I name it as a contact, and that will be as a Mongoose model, and then the contacts. Okay, so here I want to name it as a models, and then that will be as a contacts. And here I want to name it that will be model name. I want to use it that same name as a contacts, and here I want to use it that will be our contact schema, and also I want to export it by the name as a contact. Great. So now our new database table that should be created by the 3 of this field, name, email, and message. Okay, so here I simply created this one, and then also I want to create that API. Here 2 things will be needed. One, first of all, we will insert this data from here. That means one of our add method will be needed, and also laterally we will get this data from to this our database, and we have to visible it in our admin panel. That means here I will visible it. So that means our get method also that should be needed, right? So now I want to go back to that our API. Now if you go to that our src into this app, I want to now create another new folder. Okay, here that will be just like that same before. I want to create another new one. I just name it as a contact folder, and into this contact folder I want to create another 2 of this folder. One will be as a add, and also I want to take another folder that will be as a get. Okay, so now here into this our add area I want to create another new file. I just name it as a route. Okay, route.js, and then also for the get we will create another one. I will simply name it as a route.js. Okay, so that is the two things I successfully created. So now that will be just like that same for the about. From to the about ad, I want to copy everything. Okay, copy everything from our about ad, and then in our contact route ad area here, I want to paste it. So now I simply updated some of the things in here. So everything will be same, only now our model name that should be changed here. Now I want to insert it into our contact, right? So that is our contact model that I have already created, and you can see there is also suggested. Now click as enter. Now that is a contact model is successfully imported, which is really fine. So now that will be same here, that will be insert this data in our contact table. Okay, so that will be in our contact table area, that will be insert, that will be on the post method, and here that is actually a function name as a post. That is not the method. So now here I simply create this, that means store this our data, and then that will be successfully display as a data saved successfully, and that will be, if they have any issue, then that will be displayed as something went wrong, and rest of everything will be just like that same. Great. And also now I want to I don't need this, I want to go back to that our get method, that will be from to the our about get, and that is our route here. I want to simply copy it. Okay, so here from this position I simply select all and I copy it, and now in our route, in our contact get method area, I want to paste it. So here also that will be just like the same, only now we need to change that our model name. Here we have to use that as a contact, because from to this contact I want to now find it, so that will be our contact. Okay, here I simply load it. Perfect. And rest of everything now that should be just like that same before. Great. So our API is ready, and also our model is now ready. So now we have to work for our front end into the front end, that is actually our client contact view. Here we have to work, right? So better on to continue this process. In our next video, we will design our, that is the client contact view page. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created our contact model, and also I created two of this API. One is the add API, another will be as a get API. Right here I have already created both of these. Now we have to work in our component. That means here if you go to that our component folder, into this component folder, that is our client view, and into this client view, that is our contact, and into this contact, before I have already created this component as a client contact view, right? So now here we have to work. Here I have already used it as a use client. So now some of the things I want to first of all import it in here. Like here I want to import that our use state. Okay, I want to use it as a use and state. Use state that will be comes from the React, that will be needed. And also I want to after that I want to import that our animation wrapper. So I make it as an input will be as an animation wrapper, which I have already created that things before. I hope at that point it's very clear to you. And now here after that, okay, here I want to simply get all that our field initialize value data. That means here there is a name, email, and then the messages. Right here I want to simply take another variable. Okay, I take another constant variable, I name it as a constant, and constant name I name it as a controls. Okay, whatever the name actually choose, now I name it as a controls. And these controls here, that will be at the array, and I pass some of the object data. Like first of all, that will be the name I want to pass that our string name as a name, and then I want to pass another one as a placeholder, and placeholder I want to use it, that will be display as enter. Okay, enter your name, that will be 3 field, right? And also after that I want to use that our type, that will be as a type, and type will be which one? Type will be as a text type. I make it as a text type, and then I want to take that our level I want to use it as a name. Okay, that will be as a name. Great. Because here if you go, there is a 3 of this field will be needed. One is the name, email, and message. Great. And now better I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and now after that I want to take another 2. So another will be as an email. I name that field name will be as a email, and that will be display as enter your email, and then our label will be the email. Okay, email, and type will be as a text type, which is fine. And also after that I want to take another one, that will be another comma, and then I want to take another one that will be for the message. message, and here I name it as a enter your message. Type will be as a text type. Here I want to use it as a message. Okay, that will be as a message. Great. So now here I successfully loaded that is the controls. Okay, here that is our controls is loaded. Perfect. Now we have to design it. So I want to go back to our return. So that is actually our return, and into this return area now we have to work. Okay, so first of all I want to simply design our form. So here I simply loaded, and I just take one of the div, and into this div area I want to put some of the class name that will be the same that I have used it multiple times as a screen. I want to take it as a Excel, and margin top I want to use it as a 24, and then that will be as a margin button I want to take it as a 6, and then for the small skin, that means that will be for the small skin I want to make it as a margin will be as a 14, and then for the small I want to use it as a margin button will be as a 14. Okay, so here I simply take it as a 14. Great. And also I want to use it as a px padding left will be as a 6, and then for the small skin, okay, for the small skin I want to use it as a padding left will be as a 8. That should be as a responsive, and for the large skin I want to use it as a padding left, that will be for the 16. Okay, here I make it as a 16, and then our mx I want to use it as a auto, so that will be as a auto. Okay, and also here we have to pass that our id here I want to use it. That means when you click it as a contact, then this contact component should be loaded, which I have already navigate that things in our navigation. That means in our navbar if you go, I pass that our id for the contact, so that will be as a contact, right? So I want to simply take it, our id will be as a contact. Great. Now here after that I want to load that our animation better from to this area. I want to load that animation, so that will be the animation wrapper. I simply loaded animation wrapper, and that is the reasons I have already imported it, right? Animation wrapper, which I have already created as animation wrapper in our client view, and that is our animation wrapper, right? I have already created this one. So now here I simply loaded that our animation wrapper. Here I want to use one of the class name that will be, I use it as a padding top will be as a 6. Same format that I have already used multiple times. Now here after that I take one of the div, and into this div area I want to take one of the class name. First of all I want to make it as a flags, that will be the flags column. I want to take it, justify, that will be into the center position. Item also I want to use that center position, and the row is start, I want to use it as a start. Row start will be as a 2, and then for the small skin I want to use it as a row start will be as a 1. Okay, row and start will be as a 1. Great. Here I simply load it, and then I want to take another h1 tag. H1 tag is started, and here I want to simply pass that our class name will be the same. Actually I have already done it before. If you go to also in our any other places, like if you go to that our experiences, if you go, I have also used it, so that will be actually just like that same. Here you can see there is a leading one of the h1 tag, but I want to simply copy the total h1 tag, okay, from to our experience index. I copy it, and now in our contact area here I want to better paste it. So now that will be as our landing, each and everything will be same format. Here now only I want to change the name, that will be as a contact, okay, contact me, and that will be split that things like that way. There is a 2 index, that will be our index will be 1, and that will be as a text screen. That's all. Okay, so that will be just like that same. Now if you also want to check it, click as a save all, and now if you go to that our project, and into this project area here if you go, I'm going to better refresh it, and now you can see now that is successfully visible, that things like that way as a contact me. And now here after that contact me, we have to load that there is the field that has some of the send message button. So here I want to go back to here again. I want to go outside from to this our first animation wrapper. Okay, that is our animation wrapper is ended. Now here after that animation wrapper, I want to take another div. So that will be another div is started, div is ended, and in here I want to put some of the class name. I want to use some of the text gray color, gray like as a 500 I want to use it, and also I want to make it as a relative. Okay, that will be as a relative, and then I want to take another div, and into this div area I want to put the class name, that will be another container class. container, which I have already created on the custom class. So that will be a padding left. I want to do and to use it as a 5. And then I want to do and to take another div, and into this div area I want to put the class name that will be white. I want to make it as a full, and then I want to take another div, and into this div area I want to put another class name, and that will be the flags. I want to use it as a whopper. Okay, that will be as a flag swap. I want to do and to use it, and then here I want to also use it as a minus margin, margin as a 2. I want to use it. Great. And now here I want to load that our that is the controls I have already created. So that is actually our controls data that have the 3 fields. Better I copy it. Now I want to do and to simply take it in here. So I simply put that condition as a controls. Here I want to call that our map method, and I want to access all that our controls data by the name as a control item. Okay, whatever the name actually choose. Now I name it as a control item. Then that will be another callback function. Here I simply call that our callback function. So now here after that I want to do and to put some of the condition. Okay, here I want to put this condition. Right now I have already accessed everything by the control item. So now into this control item here I want to do to access it as a name. When this control item name will be equal, okay, equal as a message. I name it as a message, then that will be do one things. Okay, then that will be do one things, and here I simply load it, and else, okay, else that will be do another job. Okay, here I simply loaded that our else. So now I want to do, first of all, in here when this our name will be as a message. Okay, here when this will be as a message, in particular that area I want to declare some of the div. Better from here I want to declare it. I take another div, that is a div is started, div is ended, and into this div area I want to put that some of the class name. Class name will be as a padding from to the every spaces. I want to take it as a 2, and then wide I want to make it as a full. Okay, here that will be as a full, and then I want to take another div is started, div is ended. Here I want to make it as a relative. Okay, that will be as a relative, and then I want to use that level. That will be the level is started and level is ended, and into this level area here I want to put only one of the class name. Here I want to name it as a text will be as a SM size, and text color will be as a black, custom black color. I want to use it, that will be as a #000. Okay, so now black color that should be display, and here I want to display that our control name. So that will be as a control. I want to simply display it here. If you go, that will be as a control, and our name I name it as a level, right? So that will be actually level as a message, email, and then the name. So now that should be displayed like that way. Here I want to use it, that will be as a level. Okay, and that is our level. Here this is the level. I want to load it into this our level area, right? So now that will be into this level area. I want to simply load it this. Great. So level is ended. Now here after that I want to simply take another text area. So I make it as a text area. That will be as a text area. That is actually our text area. I simply loaded the text area. Text area is started, text area is ended, and in here I want to simply pass some of the ID. Okay, so here I want to pass that ID. ID will be which one? ID will be that our name. That means here right now we are already accessing everything with the control item. So now with this control item I want to pass that our name will be our ID, and also we have to pass that our name, and name will be which one? Here also I want to use it, name here, that will be that is the control item name, and also I want to pass that value, another property as a value property, and value property will be our form data. So that will be the form. Okay, form, and then the data. So that will be the form data. Here I want to load it, and into this form data area here I want to simply load that our name. So here in particular that position I want to pass that our contact item name. Okay, so by this actually field name area we have to also insert this data, right? And also here we have to now get that our input field all that value. So here if you want to get it, so I make it as an on change function. So that will be the on change, and into this on change area I want to pass it our event. So process will be same. that I have already used it before. So that will be the event, and that will be another callback function. And into this callback function area here, I want to call that our set, and then I want to actually create one of the new use state, and from to this new use state I want to actually load this out. That is the form data. Okay, here if you go better, I want to do that is in here, that is actually our function, right? So inside the function here we have to create that our use state. So I want to create another new one, and I just name another constant. Sorry, that will be as a constant name. I name it as a form. Okay, that will be as a form, and then the data. So I name it as a form data will be as a set, and then the form data, form, and then the data. Okay, that will be set from data, and here I want to use it as a use state. So that is a use state. I have already imported that use state, and here we have to pass that our initialized value data. So here if you go, I have also loaded our use state that will be comes from the React. Okay, so initialized form data here, if you want to pass it, that will be just like that same before. I have already done it. I take another variable, I just name that variable as the initialized form data. Okay, I name it as the initial, and then the form and data. So initialize form data area, here I want to do all that our field name, that will be as a empty, right? The process will be same that I have already done it before, as a name, email. I also want to make it as initialized value will be as a empty. Another wall will be as a message also I want to initialize value will be as empty. Okay, so that is all that our input tree of this field data. Here I simply pass it in here. Okay, so I simply pass it in particular that in our use state. So now I want to see when you change some of the value, that will be stored it in our set from data, right? So I copy it, and now in here I want to simply call it, and now here from by this we can actually able to access that our all data. So that is the data we have to pass it in our form data area, and that is our use state I have already declared. Here I simply pass it, and now we have to also call it. We call that our name will be control item. So that will be as a control item name. Here in particular that name area I want to pass that our targeted value. So that will be target, and then that will be as a value. Okay, so now by this we can actually able to access our all that input field data. Okay, here I successfully loaded that our onChange function, and that is our text area is started, text area is ended. So now here also we have to load some of the classes. Okay, here better I want to do after that I want to use some of the class name. That is a class name. I want to make it as a wide will be as a full, and border I want to use our green main color, our custom color that I want to use it, and then I want to use some of the border will be another custom border like as a 2 pixel, and then busy color that will be a busy color. I want to use some of the custom background color, that will be as a white color I want to use it. So that will be the FFF. Okay, that means 6F. Now that will be one of the white color that should be display. That will be as a busy as hyphen. Okay, so that means single one. Now that should be our white. Great. So now here after that I want to use some of the rounded. That will be as a rounded. I want to use it as a rounded, and height I want to use it. I want to use side like as a 32, and then text I want to use it as a base. That will be as a text will be as a base. Outline I want to make it as a none, and then text color I want to use that black color. So that will be as a hash 0. Okay, 000. You can also use it. That will be as a black color, and also I want to use on the padding top. Padding top will be as a 1, and padding left I want to use it. Okay, as a 3. That will be as a 3, and then I want to use it as a resize. Resize will be none, and then the leading will be as a 6. So I simply added that things for our, that is the text area. Now this text area is ended in here. Okay, so that is perfect. Okay, so now that will be our text area will be loaded, and else I have already put this condition when that will be equal message, then our text area only that should be displayed, right? Here if you go, so that is actually our text area will be displayed, rather than that will be our another 2 of this also that should be needed. So that is the reasons I want to simply take it. I want to take that that is the div. If you select this div is started, and this div is ended in here. So now that is our total div. I want to take it, better I want to minimize it a little bit, and that is our total div. I want to simply copy this total div, and there is a if condition is started, and that is our else, right? So into this else area here, I want to paste it. I simply paste it. Okay, and our arrow is also now totally gone. Here I want to better take it a little bit left side. So now here only we need to do here, that will be the full relative, everything will be same, control level that should be displaying here. And then in right now we don't need to that our text area here. I want to load that our input field. So that will be, I want to use it as input. That will be as input is started, and this input is ended. So into this input field area also you have to pass the same things. Our ID will be the control name will be passing. There is a form data use state, I have already declared it, so that should be in here on change function. And there is a set form data, so it should be get all that our new data, it should be stored it in our set form data use state, which I have already called it. So that will be just like the same before here. And then our button border green, everything also here, that should be the same. Okay, so right now there is a our button, our input field that should be displayed. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all. And now I want to check it, everything is look like fine. And now I want to go back, and now you can see that is display that things like that way as a name, email, and that is a messages. Right here for our name and email, here I want to simply change that classes. Like here if you go, that is our input. Into this input I have already used it as a height 12, that 32 I don't need it for the input. Okay, so that will be only applicable for our this one, that means for our text area. Now I click as a save all, and now if you go now you can see now that is successfully loaded that our email, and then name, email, and messages. Great. So here we successfully design our input field, and also we successfully get that our input field all that value. Also if you want to check it, you can also check it. In that case, like here I want to simply, that is our use state data, I want to check it into the console log. Into this console log area I want to check that our, and that is the form data. Okay, here I want to simply check that our form data is working or not. I want to check it, click as a save all, and now if you go, I want to open that our inspect. Into this inspect, if you go to that console, and now here I want to simply check it. I make it as a write down some of the things in here. You can see that is successfully get that E, that is a R, and that is also the T. That means it successfully get all that our input field value data, which I have already updated that things in here, right? So for in particular that position into our set form state data area, here I successfully pass it our text area data, and that is our input field data. I hope friend the concept is very clear to you. So now better on to continue this process. In our next video we have to also add this type of another button, and from here we have to send this data to the database. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created that our form design and offered the contact page, and also we successfully get all that our input field value. So now friend, I want to do from here when you submitted everything, and after that I want to load another button. From here I want to now store this data into that our database. So let's do that work. For doing this, first of all, I want to do here that is our input field I have already created, right? So that is the input field is that is actually portion is ended in here. Now after that I also want to declare another use state, and here I want to actually load this use state it because of all when you submit some of the messages. Also I want to show some of the message in here that your message is successfully delivered. This type of part of the message I want to visible. So that is the reasons here I simply put another condition. I want to load one of the use states. So for now I name it as a show. Okay, show, and then the success message. Okay, so this type of one of the use state also you have to create it. So now that will be a show success message, and if there have any show success message, I want to display one of the p tag in here. I want to display it, that should be displayed as your message is successfully delivered. Okay, delivered. This type of the message that will be displayed. And also better I want to use some of the class in here. So that will be the class name. I want to use that text size, one of the custom like as a 14 pixel. Okay, that will be the 14 pixel. I want to use that our font will be as a bold. I want to use font bold, and then margin at top also I want to use like as a 8 pixel. Okay, you can also use it as a 8, so that will be as a margin 8, or rather than you can also use some of the custom one as a 8 pixel. Okay, so that will actually get some of the margin top position. Great. So now here after that I want to simply take another div for the button, because our button now that will be needed. So I take another div is started, div is ended, and into this area I want to put some of the class name. Padding I want to take it as a 2, and also wide I want to make it as a full. Okay, and here I want to now load another button. Button is started, button is ended, and into this button area our button name will be as a send. Okay, send message, this type of the button name. And now here I want to better put some of the classes for this button. I make it as a class, some of the class name, and here our class name I want to first of all use some of the disable functionality. So here I want to make it as a disable. Okay, disabled. I want to use some of the opacity. Why I'm actually using it, I will show you. Like here I want to now make it as opacity will be as a 50. I want to use some of the padding top I want to use it like as a 3. And then for the large skin, okay, I want to use some of the padding top will be as a 4. And then I want to use some of the padding left as a 12. Okay, here I want to use it as a 12. And then also for the large skin I want to use the padding left will be as a 16. I make it as a 16. And then text color I want to use it as a white. Okay, white 500 I want to use it. And then font will be as a semi bold. Okay, here I want to use it as a semi bold. And then rounded I want to use it as a large. And now text size I want to use it as a 2XL, so that will be the 2XL. Okay, and then I want to use some of the tracking that will be as a weakest. Here I want to use this class busy color. Okay, I want to use some of the busy our custom color as a busy green ZRWN, right? Busy green. I want to use it as a main one, and that will be as a outline. Okay, outline I want to make it as a none. So now this button that should be display. If you click as a save all, and now here if you go, sorry, it's getting another error message. Is because of all I understand I didn't actually create that our use state. So better I want to create that our use state as a show success message. So now I copy it. Now I want to go to that our top. Okay, here after that I want to take another constant. So I take another constant variable, and here I name it as a show success message. That will be as a set, and then the show success message. So here I simply load it, and that will be as a use state. I simply loaded that use state, and here by default I want to pass that initialized value will be as a false. Okay, so now let's check this out, and also console log that will be not needed. I have already checked it, which is really fine. Now click as a save all. Now if you go, and now that should be loaded. Here if you go to that our contact, you can see now that is successfully visible our this button as a send message. So I want to do when you put your name, when you put that email address, when you put some of the messages, I have already get all that our value, right? So here I want to do after getting everything, then our this button will be active. Rather than that will be added, I have already added another things. I have already added the disable, that will be as opacity will be as a 50. So here if you want to do this work, I want to do into this button area. I want to call that as a disable. So that will be as a disable, and here I want to pass another function. Okay, and I will create this function like as a is, and then the valid. That will be as a is valid form. So here I make it as a when, that will be as a not is valid form. Okay, and now we have to create this function. But I copy it, and now I want to go to the top, and here before that our return, and after that our condition. Okay, that means after that our function, here we have to actually create it. I want to simply take it by the name as a constant, as a is valid, that will be I want to pass one of the our array function. Okay, here I want to call back one of the function. I simply call it. So now from here I want to return that our data. That means here that is actually our form. I have already initialized that data, and also when you successfully updated, that will be updated that our initialized value into that our set form data use state, right? So here I want to access that is the form data. Now with this form data I want to put this condition as a and here by this form data I want to access it that is actually name field, right? I have already initialized that things in our use state. So now with this form data I want to access that our name field, when that will be as a not equal, when that will be the not equal empty. Okay, here and I want to use that another one as a form data, sorry, that will be as a form, and that is actually our form data. And this form data here, now by this also I want to access our another field that will be as the email, when that will be as the same not equal, and as a empty. Then also I want to take another one where I copy it and I paste it, that will be the form data. Another one will be as an email, and that means the message. And when this will be as a not equal empty, then I want to simply put another condition, then that will be as a true, and else that will be as a false. Okay, here by default initialized value I have also passed it as a false, which is really great. Okay, which is really great. And now let's check this out here. If you click as a save all, okay, click as a save all, everything that should be work perfectly. And now if you go, and now I want to check it, I want to refresh it, and now here it's all that should be actually disabled, but here it's active. Maybe here if you go, that is actually our function as is form, that is valid form. I have already updated and I call that our function. Here if you go in particular that position, that is a button, I have already make it as a disable, as that will be as a not as is valid. You can see that is another function, right? Here we have to also use it like it. So now that is actually activated. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all, and now if you go again, you can see now that is our disable opacity. Here I have already used it as a opacity 50, and now you can see that is hiding, and also that is disabled. It's not executed. If you put your cursor hit it, that will be not working. But when you put some of the name, when you put some of the email address, when you put some of the message, then you can see that is become changed, and now that will be executable. Right? Great. So our disposition is also now fine. Here when that will be empty, that will be again become as a disable. So now I want to do from here, when you pass some of the name, email and the messages, and then I want to store this data into this our database that I have already created. So now that will be created another new table as a contact, and here I will insert this data. So how to do this work better? I want to continue this process. In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully worked for our this send message button. So now when you put that appropriate email address, name, and then messages, then that will be as activated. So now here I want to do, when you pass it name, email, and message, this data that should be stored into the database. So let's do that work. For doing this in our page, that means in our contact index page, I want to create another function. Okay, here after that I want to create another on click function. So better I want to use some of this space that will be here. I want to use it as a on click, one of the function on click, and that will be the on click function. So I will create one of the function name like as a handle send message. That will be the send and then the message. Great. Now this type of one of the method we have to create. Okay, so now I want to create this method. I copy it. Now I want to go to that our top. Okay, that means here after that our function. Okay, after that function that is valid, here I want to create it. Okay, I want to create this function that will be another async function. I simply call it async and function. That will be the function. Our function name will be as a handle send message. Here I simply call this function. So into this function area, now simple job. Here I have already created that our services. Here if you go to that our services and into the services area, I have already created that our API for the add data, right? That is our add data, and here our API will be as the API and current tab will be as the add. So also that is our API. I have already called it in here for the contact, that will be as the add, and that is our route which I have already done it, right? So now I only want to do and to call that our, and that is the add method from to our services, from to the services, that is our add data. I want to do and to take it. So here, if you want to take it, first of all, I want to take another constant, and I just name it as a response, and response will be which one? That will be as a await function. I want to now call it as a add, and then the data, and you can see that is a add data that should be transformed to the our services. Now click as a enter. Now that should be also inputted here. If you go, that is a add data is inputted from to the services. Okay, here I successfully load it. Now throughout this API that will be executed this functionality. So here I want to execute it by the name as a contact, that will be as a contact, and here into this contact area I want to pass it our, that is the form, all that our input field value which I have already taken it into the form data. So that is our input field value, all that I want to do, and to simply pass it. Great. Okay, so here I simply pass it, and now also if you want to check it, you can check it into this console log. Okay, into the console into this console log area. If you want to check it, that is a response. You can also check that response by the name. I name it as a contact response. Okay, so here by this name we can actually check it as a contact. Okay, so that will be the contact res. Great. So I will check it here, it's successfully getting it or not. So here if it successfully get that our data, then that should be display our wish message which I have already created. If you go to that our contact add route here, if everything okay, that should be display as a data saved successfully in our contact table, that should be stored, right? So now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, I want to refresh it. Okay, I want to better refresh it, and now I want to go to that our inspect. Okay, into this I want to go inspect. If you go to that our console, and into this console area, let's check this out. I want to put that name as a Kazi Aryan. Here I simply, right now I don't need this, I want to better close it, and name email I want to use it as a Aryan. Okay, Aryan, RDARIYN, Aryan @gmail.com, and I make the password as a I like your work. Okay, now let's check this out. If you now click as a send message, and now if you want to visible it, you can visible it by the name as a contact response, right? I copy it, and also want to search filter it in here. Now if you go to that our send message, you can see that is successful, that is display as a success, as a data saved successfully for the contact response. And now if you go to again in our page, that means in our database, if you go to the database, if you now refresh it, now that should be added another new table as a contact table right here. Now into this collection area, that should be another new one. Yes, you can see that is a contact table is successfully created, and if you open it, that should be one data. You can see that the name is inserted, email is inserted, and also the message is inserted. And now also here if you go, and you can see I have already submitted, right? Here I have already submitted that. Right now everything is fine, we don't need it. We successfully submitted our name, everything. But after the submit, I want to make it as a empty. So if you want to make it as a empty, what exactly you have to do? I have already assigned some of the initialized form data, right? Simply I want to simply now call this one. After that submitted, when that will be as a successful, I want to call that is the initialized form data, and that means that will be everything will be as empty. Okay, so I want to simply put this condition. So here if you want to do this work here, after that I want to use another if condition. So that will be this if condition. Here I want to get when we get that our response, and from to the response here we will, when that will be the response will be as a success, right? So that will be as a success, because here if you go in here also I pass that our response, that is message, as a success, right? So now that will be when that will be get that response as a success, and then I want to set it into this that is the set form data. Into the set form data again I want to make it as the initialized value. Initialized value will be which one? That is actually our initialized form data value, right? So now I want to simply pass it. That means now after that submitted, that should be become as a again empty. Great. So we solved one issue, and also there is another issue. I have already declared another use state. Remember, so that is the use state when you submitted some of the form data. I want to visible. I want the message as a this message as a your message is successfully delivered, and that is the things I have already loaded. One of the show message, show success message. One of the use state I have also declared. So now here also I want to simply make it right now by default. I make it as a false. Now into this our use state area here I want to simply call it, and then when that will be as a success here I want to make it as a true. So now that will be should be displayed in here. Okay, and also if you want to display it like after the certain period of the time, this message will be simply gone. You can also do it. I show you. In that case only you have to use it as a use effect. So I simply call that our use effect in here, and that will be another callback function. Here I simply declare, and also I make that sure use effect that should be imported here. If you go use effect, it will be transformed to the React, which is really fine. And now I want to do in here, I want to call that our state, our state name, I name it as a set show message. Okay, here I simply, that is a show success message, I copy it, and now in here I want to put another condition. I want to put this if condition when that will be as a show success message, and here in React they have also another function as a set timer. So that is that set time out. I want to use it. Okay, so that will be the set timeout. Here that will be the callback function, and in here after how many time you want to visible, you can also set it. Like here I want to make it as a after 15 seconds. So here you have to pass it. I make it as a 15. Okay, 15,000. So that means that is one of the nanosecond. So here by this time period that will be simply vanished. Okay, and here then again I want to make it as our, that is the set show success message. Again I want to become the value, change the value, that will be as a false. Okay, here I want to make that our this use state will be as a false. Great. So that's all you have to do in here. Now let's check this out, it's also executed or not. Now click as a save all. First of all, now our what things will be happen when you submitted everything, our message should be displayed, and all that our field data that should be as a empty, right? So there is a two things I have actually added from here. That will be get that our initialize form data value. Initialize form data value means that will be again become as a empty, and also here into this use state after that, and that will be also display our set show success message, that will be become true. That means our message that should be displayed, and also after the certain period of the time, this message also become updated that our use state will be become false. That means then that should be also gone. Okay, let's check this out. I want to put another one as a Raju, and I make it as a Raju@gmail.com. I put the message as a hello, hi, I need your number, please let me know. Okay, so now this step on the message. Now click as a send message. Yes, you can see there is a your message is visible, and after certain period of the time it's also now become gone. All that our input field is becoming getting that our initialized form data. So now that is the initialized form data. Okay, it's now become empty, and also our messages become display, and certain period of the time this message is also become updated our use state as a false, and now that is totally gone. Okay friend, I hope you like it very much. And also if you now go to that our database again, now that should be another one. I want to simply refresh it. Okay, I want to refresh this database table. Now that should be inserted our another contact form data. That is also successfully inserted. Okay friend, I hope the concept is very clear to you. So now better in our next video I want to do that is our all messages. I want to visible it in our admin into this our contact. There is an admin contact view which I have already created before. In here I want to visible it. So for getting this I have already created that our get method right here. If you go to that our top, I have already created that our contact. I have also created that our contact get route. So that will be very easy. So in our next video I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully able to add all that our data and our contact from data in our contact table. So now I want to simply get this data and I want to visible it in our admin panel, and that is in our contact admin contact view page area. I want to visible it. So let's do that work. For doing this, first of all, you have to understand, I hope you already remember where exactly I have already get all that our data. So I have already set up everything in our admin, and that is our pages, right? So into this admin pages, and here you can see I have already load all the data, that is our all data. Here I have already loaded everything. So that means here into this our use state I have already called that our API data. So we will receive this data in here, right? That is our all data. Great. So here I have already loaded everything. Great. So now in particular that position also I have loaded that our contact. You can see that is our level I contact, and that is a component as a admin contact view, right? So I have actually stored this data. If you go to that here, I have already stored this data in our handle send messages from to our contact index. Here I save it by the name as a contact, right? So now here I want to simply first of all pass this data. So that will be just like the same before. Here I want to simply pass it here into this contact view area. Now that will be our component will be this one, and here after that I want to pass that our props data. So into this contact form area I want to pass that our data. So I name it as a contact, so that will be as a contact. Okay, so here I pass that our all data. If there have any all data, you can also put this condition as a first of all I want to load it as all data. If there have an all data, then that will be simply pass it our all data as a contact. Great. So I pass that one of the props and by the name as a data. So now we have to destructure it in our admin contact view, which I have already created into this our component. And into this component, if you go to that our admin view, and that is our contact, and if you now open it, and that is our admin contact view. So here first job is we need to destructure that our props data. So here I destructure, that is our data. Okay, here I simply destructure it, and then I want to simply return it. So here if you want to use some of the design, you can actually create the design, but right now I want to make it as a simple. Here I take one of the div, and into this div area I want to make on the class name. Here I make it as a flex, that will be the flex, and also I want to make it as a flex column, and also I want to put some of the gap will be like as a 5. And here now I want to simply load this data. So that will be our data, and if there have any data, so I want to use that our data length. So with this data, that will be as a length, right? So I want to take it as a length, ZTH, that will be the length. And into this length area, if there I want to put this condition, if there have any data, okay, then that will be do one things, and I want to simply pass it one of the map function here. So that will be the data, and with this data I want to call that our map method, right? So that will be the map method, and into this map method area here I want to receive all the data by the name as a item, and here I want to simply pass that our callback function. Okay, so that is our callback function. So if there have any data, then that will be display this data, and else, okay, here after that I want to pass it as else it should be as a null. That will be the null value. That's all here you have to do. Okay, and now I want to simply visible it. Here if you want to visible, that will be another div. I want to simply take one of the div in here. Div is started, div is ended, and into this div area I want to put some of the class as a padding. I want to take it from the every sided as a 5, and also I want to use some of the border. Okay, I want to use some of the border. That's all. Now I want to take one of the p tag, and into this p tag area right now you get all the data by the name as a item. So now with this item I want to display the name, and also here if you better copy it, like there is a 3 field data. That is one of the name, email, and then the message, right? So I want to simply take it as a name, and then that will be the email, and also another will be as a message. Okay, that will be the message. Now this data that should be displayed in our loop area. Let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go to that here in our contact, okay, that is admin contact, but I want to refresh it. Here if you go to that our contact, you can see now that is our 2 of this message, and this message is successfully visible. Now again if you pass some of the another data, like I pass it as a Khan @gmail.com, Gmail, okay, gmail.com, and then I pass on the message say I need your number and it's urgent. Okay, this time of the message I will simply pass it. Now click on the send message send delivered successfully, and now if you refresh it, now that should be display our contact. You can see that is successfully visible it. Great. So how to do this work, friend? I hope it's very clear to you. So I have already completed almost everything, and now but also our name I want to actually change it. That is our app name. Okay, I want to change that our app name. Better right now I want to close everything, and now our app name, you will get it into this our main layout. Here if you go to that our layout, as I told you, that is our main file, right? So that is in our main SR app area. That is actually one of the file. Now I want to better minimize everything. Okay, I want to minimize it and the database model. And now if you go to that SRC and app, and in here that is actually our layout. Okay, here we have to access it. That is our layout. Into this layout, that is our description, and that is our title. Now here I want to change it. I name it as a full stack. Okay, full, and then the stack portfolio. Okay, that was a portfolio website. Okay, so now I simply name it like that. Now click as a save all. Now our title, that should be become changed, and you can see our title is become changed. Now that is display as a full stack portfolio website. Great. So here we call everything is now totally dynamic, and all the things is also working about experiences, project, and also the contact. And also here I have already added that our contact as a contact. If you click it, that should be also returned direct to this our contact page. That means here, right? Great. So everything is now fine. So now in our next video I want to also share another things with you, because you may also ask me about it. So don't worry, that is one of the small project here. I didn't actually work for the edit functionality, right? So but I have already discussed about that update functionality. So simply try to apply this functionality for the here, like that is our education. Here if you want to edit it, you can also edit it. But in our next video I want to only complete that our delete functionality, how can delete these things from here. In our next video I will show you that things with the live example. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we are successfully complete our contact me functionality, and also admin will be able to get all that our contact details, right? Here, all that our contact messages, you will be successfully get it. So how to do this work, I hope it's very clear to you. So into the front end, I have already completed almost everything. There is a home, about, when you click it, that is scrolling is loaded for the about, experience is loaded, the project is loaded, and then there is a contact is loaded, and also in our there is a contact me button. Here I have also used that our scroll and for the contact, right? Here I hope you already remember it. Here when I design it, I have already loaded that things in our client view, and into this our if you go to that our navigation into the navbar, if you go to that navbar and into this navbar, here you can see that is actually our button that I have already created this button as a contact me, and here I pass it, that will be scroll to the contact, right? So that is also successfully working. So now friend, in this video I want to work for the delete functionalities. I will use the delete functionality only for the education, then your tasks will be completed the same things for the experiences, okay, and also for the project. So let's do that work. For doing this, that is in our education, if you go to that our database, into the database, that is our education. Here if you when you delete it, then we have to also delete it with a specific, that is a requested ID. Right now they have the 3 data, right? So they have the 3 data is visible. So now there is a 3 data, there is a specific some of the ID. This ID related data we have to delete. Okay, so here if you want to do this work, we have to do, if you go to that our component name as a admin, that is our admin related education component. Here I have actually display everything, right? And that is actually our also form. So now I want to first of all go there. Okay, here I want to now close everything. Okay, close everything, and now we need need to do, we need to go to that our component, and that is our client view, not the client view, admin view we have to go, and that is the education. I want to open that education index. Okay, so into this education index, I have already get that our form data, I have also get that our set data, and that is actually our data. So here I simply loaded that our data. You can see that is our data by the data length. I have also loaded that our degree, year, and then the college, and that is the reasons our degree, year, and college is visible. So now I want to do here, after that I want to load one of the button. So here if you want to load this button, like that is actually ended, that is a college. Okay, here after that I want to simply take another div. Better I take another div is started, div is ended, and now in here I want to use some of the class name. I want to make it as a flex. I want to put that gap like as a 2, and here I want to load another button. That will be one of the button is started and button is ended. So into this button area also I want to put some of the class name, like here I want to make it as a busy red. I want to use it as a busy red, like as a 500. Okay, and then text color I want to make it as a white. Text will be white 500, and padding I want to use for the every spaces. It should be get some of the padding, like I want to take it as a 2, and also that will be as a rounded. Okay, here I simply make it as a rounded. Great. So our button name will be like as a delect. I name it as a delect. Sorry, that will be as a delect. Great. Now this button that should be display. If you now click as a save all, right now we are already into this our loop. That means in our map method I have already loop it. So now automatically that will be execute this button for our all. Now if you go, you can see now that is successfully added one of the button, and there is a button as a delect. So right now there is our one ID, there is also another ID, there is also another ID. So specific our ID related data we have to delete, because these data actually also they have one of the ID. So here if you want to pass it, like that is actually I have already get everything with the data, and then I pass it by the item. So with this item I display that our database field name as a degree, year, and then college. Here if you go and you can see there is a field name as a degree, year, and college. So now I want to create one of the new method. Okay, here I want to do into this our button area. Into this button area I want to create one of the on click function. So that will be the on click, and that will be one of the callback function. Here I simply call it, and I want to create one of the function as a handle. I name it as a handle. Okay, handle and delect item. Now this type of one of the function we have to create, and here into this function area also I want to pass that our ID. So here that is actually our item. With this item our database field name as a underline ID. So now that will be our field name as a underline ID. Okay, here we have to pass it. Great. I hope friend the concept is very clear to you. So now we have to create this our method. That is a method I have declared as a handle delect item. Better I copy it, and now in our method, that means into this method area we have to actually that means in our this function area we have to load it. So now here after that I want to simply load it. Okay, I want to take on the constant variable. I just name it as a handle delect item. That will be one of the async function. I call that async function, and here I have already passed one of the ID. So that will be our parameter will be receive this ID, and that is our function. Okay, so I simply created this function. So into this function area that is on the async function, I pass that our ID, right? So that is actually here I have also passed that our ID, right? If you go, and that is actually our ID. I hope you get the point. By this it should be get that our specific this our data related ID. Now we need to create our API. Better I click as a save all, and here now we have to work in from to this area. But first of all I want to create that our API. If you want to create this API, that will be in our API app, and then the API for the education I have already created that add and get. Now I want to create another new one. That will be, I just name it as a that will be another folder, right? I want to create another new folder. So better I want to delete it. Okay, simply delete it here. Now in particular that our API, and that is actually our API education, and into this education area I want to now create another new folder, and this folder I name it as a delect. Okay, so that will be as a delect. Automatically it should be get that route as a delect, and also our file name obviously that should be as a route. Okay, so I make it as a route.js. So I simply created this API as a delect and then the route.js. So you can also get some of the references from to our about ad. From here I want to now take this type of one of the things. I copy it, and also our force dynamic will be needed, but I copy everything from here, and now into this our route for the delect I want to paste it. So that will be as a DB connect, will be as a database, and here also our model name will be another one, because I want to now delect it with our which model. I want to delect it from to the our education, right? So from here I will remove it and rest on our next response. That will be the same here. That will be the next server, and also here after that I want to take another one. I want to take another input object ID. So that will be as a object as a ECT, okay, object ID, and this object ID that will be comes from, okay, that will be comes from to the MongoDB. So here we have to load it as a Mongo, okay, that will be as a Mongo and then the DB, okay. So I make it as a DB. So here actually I simply loaded that MongoDB, and from to the MongoDB it should be now get it, or that is one of the object ID. So that is the object ID that will be actually ensure to convert string ID to object ID for the MongoDB. So that is very important, one of the things. I will also use it, that is our object ID, and also I take that our dynamic force as a force dynamic, okay. So now I want to create this method. So that will be the export, and that will be the async function. I want to call it, export, and that will be as a async function. I want to call it, and then I want to call that our function. That will be the function name. I name it as a delect, okay. That will be the delect, and here also you will get that our request. So that will be our request. I simply loaded that request. So now I want to call it our try catch. So that will be as a try catch function. Here I simply call it, and now first of all I want to do into this console log. I want to display it. So that will be as a console log, and into this console log area I want to display it. I want to display some of the message like as a delect, a request and received, okay. So by this it should be at this type of the debugging. So if there have been, it should be get that our delect request is received. So that is will be our request, and also here I want to call that our await function. That will be the await will be our database will be which one, that will be as a connect to DB. Here I simply instance that our connect to DB. Great. And now here after that I want to simply get that our ID, because here from to this our method I have also passed on the ID. So our ID will be needed, because ID related data we have to delete it. So I take one of the constant variable and I just name it as a ID, and this ID we will get it from to this our request. So that will be as a await, and await will be our which one, that will be as a request, and request will be as a JSON. Here I simply loaded that our JSON, okay. So I simply loaded that things in here. Now after that, okay, here after that I want to now put on the condition, one of the if condition, and into this condition area here I have already loaded that our object ID. So now throughout this object ID I want to do when that will be as a not object ID will be our one of the function as a is valid, okay, is valid one of the method. I want to call this method, and into this method area I want to receive that our requested JSON ID. So here I simply loaded that ID, okay. And now if everything okay, I want to simply pass that our returned, that will be the return, and that will be the next response, and that is the next response which I have already taken. That will be the JSON format, and here I want to pass it as a success. So that will be the success will be I want to make it as a false, because here when that will be not get that our appropriate ID value is when that will be the invalid, then that will be display our success. So that will be the success, and success will be as a false. And also you can show some of the message, like I show that message will be display like as a invalid, okay, invalid ID provided, okay friend. I hope it's very clear to you. So when this ID will be not matched, then that will be return response as a success will be as a false, and message should be display as an invalid ID provided. Great. So that will be our first condition, and then I want to simply take it our appropriate one. So here if you want to take it, so I take another constant and I just name it as a result, okay. I name that as a result, result, and result will be one of the await function. And here now I want to access our which table data, because here I want to access that our education data, right? So here I want to call that our model name as education, and you can see that is also suggested as a model as education. Now click as a enter, and now that should be also imported. You can see about will be not needed, but here our education is successfully imported by the name as education, which is really great. So now from to this area we have to actually delete it, right? So I want to call on the method as a delete one method. So that is our delete one method, and with this method here I want to pass it. So that will be first of all our ID. Okay, that means in our education related ID, and here we have to create another new instance for our object ID. Okay, so that will be the object ID that I have already loaded. So that is our object ID area. Here we have to pass that our ID. So I simply pass this ID. Great. So here we have to load it, and then I want to do after that, when that will be successfully deleted, here I want to simply put another condition. Here after that I want to put another if condition. Okay, that will be the if condition. I will simply loaded, and if this result, when that will be as a delete, okay, deleted count one of the property, when that will be equal 1, I want to return response one of the message, like that will be the same. I copy it, and now here I paste it, and it will be return response one of the success will be as a true. Right now that will be the true, and that will be display as a education. Okay, education, and deleted successfully. Okay, so that is our if condition is started, if condition is ended, and in here else it should be do else it should be do another job, else that will be return another message. Okay, here where I copy it, I want to simply paste it, that will be return another response message. Our success will be as a false, and also that will be display as education not found. This type of all the things, education not found or already deleted. Okay, that will be the deleted. This type of the message will be display or in our error area. So here that will be the error. If there have any error, then that will be display into this console log. Okay, into this console log area, that will be display our, and that is the error. That's all. Okay, friend, I hope the concept and each and everything is very clear to you. I have already created this type of one of the functionality before. Now that will be for the delete. Okay, so I successfully created this our API. Now we have that means here we successfully created this our delete API. Now we have to also create another new method in our services. Okay, so I want to make it as a common, so you can actually now then simply call this our method. You can also apply the same things for our project. You can also apply the same things for the experience. Okay, so now here I successfully done it. In our next video I will create another method for the common services. Okay, here I want to create it. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created our education API, right? So into this API for the education delete API, we successfully created. So now I want to call one of the API from our common services. So here, if you go to our services, into the services index here, before I have already created all that common API for the add data, and then get data, update data, and logging. Now I also want to cover it another one that will be for the delete. Okay, so here first of all I want to export it. Export, that will be another async function, and I just name it as a function. That will be as a function, and here I name it as a handle delete. Okay, so this type of one of the function I simply call it. And here also I want to pass one of the parameter for the ID, because here with the ID we have to delete it. So I simply now call one of the try catch. So that will be actually just like that same before. I have already done this type of another job before. You can see that it will be just like that same, but I copy it from to the logging or any other places. You can also copy it. So I copy it, and now here I paste it. So that will be one of the response. Here I want to simply take it. Okay, that will be the response. I name it as a response, and response I await function fetch. Fetch will be which one? Fetch will be right now we are accessing our which things. We are accessing that API right? So that will be as the API, and then that will be as the education, and then that will be as a delect, right? So here I want to update that our route, so that will be as the API, and then the education, and then slash the delect. Here I successfully load that our API. Great. And then method will be, now that will be not the post method, here that will be the delect method. Here I simply update the delect. Headers will be just like that same application JSON, body will be JSON stringify here. Now we have to stringify our ID. So that is actually our ID. Okay, so now I simply added, and then from to this position we have to response it. I want to directly response that is a response. Okay, here I want to simply pass it, that will be as a response, and here we have to simply return it, that will be as a return. I want to return that is a response JSON. I simply return it. Okay, and also if there have any error, then that should be also display this error. With the console log you can also display it. So if there have any error, I want to show this error into the console log. That will be display this error. Error will be which one? Here if you also want to display that message, you can also display it here. That will be into the console error. Into this console error area, I want to show some of the message. Our message will be like as a error. Okay, error delecting item. Okay, so I make it as a delecting item. So if there have any error, then that should be display our error. With our error you can also pass it. So I simply pass it in here. Okay, that will be displayed. Perfect. And also if you want to pass some of the return message, you can also pass it. That will be as a return, and return I want to make it as a success. Okay, that will be the success, and success I want to make it as a false, and then here I want to pass on the message, and then message will be display as a fail. Okay, make it as a failed to delect item, then that will be display this type of one of the things. Okay friend, I hope it's very clear to you. So here I simply call that our handle delect, which is really fine. So now that is a common handle delect. Before I have already set up it in our wish place. I have set up it into this our if you go to our admin, and that is a pages, and into this pages here I have already get all that our everything in our, if you go, I have already called one of the use state as a all data. You can see that is actually our all data and set all data. So from to the use state, so that is our set all data. That is the data I want to pass it in our admin education, right? So that is a admin education, because also I want to do when you delect it without refreshing that page, that should be delected, right? So that is the reasons here from to this position I want to pass that our data. So I name another props name as a set all data, and set all data area I want to pass that our set all data. Okay, so here I simply pass it in our admin education view page. So now we have to work in our admin education view. So that means here again I want to go back to that our admin, and that is our admin view education, and that is our index. So before I have already fetched that this structure our form data, set form data, handle data, and data. So now here also I pass another one as a set all data. So I want to simply destructure it. Okay, that means here I want to do, after that here also I want to destructure that our set all data. Great. And that will be our handle delect item, which I have already called this method. Now here I want to simply take it. I want to call that our constant. I take one of the variable as a response, and response will be one of the await function. I call that our await, and now in our common index here I name it as a delect handle, right? Into the services I have created that function name as a delect handle delect, and also from here I export it. Now that should be imported in here. I name it as a handle delect, and you can see that is our handle delect method I have already created into our services. Now click as enter. Now that should be also imported here. If you go, and you can see that is imported, that is a handle delect which I have already created into this our services. Great. So now here I successfully call this function in here, and also here I want to pass that our, that is the ID, that is a request ID. Which ID? Here this ID I have already passed it from to this our handle ID delect item, and that is our ID. So now that is actually our total loop. Okay, here I simply call it, that is our ID, and that is actually ID. I have power take it in particular that position in here, and then also in our handle delete I pass that our ID, and that is also in our handle delete area I have also get this ID. Okay, so now specific this ID related data I simply call it our delete method, so that will be delected. Great. So here I simply pass it, and now I want to simply pass one of the condition, one of the if condition in here. If condition will be when this response will be as a success, right? So I also pass it. If you go to that our route here, I have also passed it as a success when that will be the success, and also as a true, right? So that is actually our success. I want to use it when this response will be as a success, and then here after that I want to simply take another constant, and here I take one of the variable as a updated data. Okay, that will be the updated data, and this data will be which one? This data will be which data I have also get it from here. So now with this data I want to filter it. So that will be as a filter, one of the function. Okay, that is a filter function. Here I simply call that our filter function, and into this function area I want to get everything by the name as an item. So now here I simply pass that our callback function, and here with this item now I want to access that our requested ID will be under our database ID as a ID when that will be as a not equal our, that is the ID. Okay, that means that is the requested ID. Here when that will be not equal our ID, then I want to simply call our, that is our set all data. I have already taken it, that is user state data. So into this set all data area here I want to pass it another parameter as a previous, that was the previous data, and here I want to pass it. Here I simply pass our one of the callback function. Here I want to simply load that our, that is the previous data. Okay, that is our previous one. Here I simply load it. So that is a tiny root operator. Here I simply call it, I simply load that our previous data in here, and also I want to access that our that is our name. Okay, that is a name ID. I have already assigned that our ID for the education, that will be the education. So now that is our education data. Here I want to simply update, that is our updated data. So then that will be actually without refreshing that page, that will be executed. Okay, so here that is also important, because without refreshing here we have to actually done all that our job. So now I want into this console log, I want to also check it into the console, into this console log. I want to check it if everything okay, then that should be display our item. Okay, item delected successfully. Okay, that will be displayed as the item delected successfully, and that is if condition is started, if condition is ended, and else it should be display another message into this our console. Okay, into the console, into this console error. Okay, into the console error I want to display another message, that will be display as a failed to delete. Okay, delete item. That will be display this message. And also here I want to pass that our response I have also pass it here. If you go, I have also pass another message, right? So that is will be as a message, and that will be display this response message. That's all. Okay, that's all you have to do. Now let's check this out. If everything okay, now that should be delected this data. I want to check it. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, everything is look like fine. Okay, without refreshing that page, now that should be delected. If you now refresh it better, I want to go to that education, and here I want to add another one as a test. Okay, I make it as a test year, like as a 2022, and then college, I want to use it as a text college. Okay, now I want to use this insert it. Now click as add education. That is successfully inserted without refreshing that page, which is really fine. Now also I want to check that our database, now that should be as a 4. If you now also go there, I want to refresh it. Now that should be as a 4 data. Right here you can see that is actually our 4 data. So I have also inserted another one as a test. Now I want to check it's successfully delected or not. I want to make it as a delect. Yes, you can see that is successfully delected. Okay, and also if you go to that our database again, and from here if you go to that our refresh, now that should be again as a 3. Now 3 data that should be displayed in here, that is the 3 data is visible. Okay, without any issue, everything is worked successfully for the delete. So how can actually delete a specific ID related data? I hope friend now this concept is very clear to you. Okay, great. So here we successfully complete almost everything. I hope for particular this that is one of the small project. So this is small project, if you complete it successfully, you are most welcome because you already know a lot of the things. So from to the next video, we will start to build one of the mega project. And into this our mega project, I will cover almost all that advanced functionality and we will develop one complete project. I hope that will help you a lot. So if you are excited, now let's start it to our another journey. So thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. We successfully complete our total project, one of the complete full stack, our portfolio website. Here we successfully complete everything, right? And also here, that is our backend. So from to the backend, when you logging here, I have already completed every functionality. Here from to this backend, you can able to change all that information as per your demand. And that is the information will be automatically updated in our front end, right? And that is our logout, and here everything is successfully completed. Now friend, in this video I want to deploy this our total project to the live server. So that is very important. So now you can actually deploy it to the live server. You can share your total job that you have done for particular this section. You can also now provide this link to around the world. So let's do that work. So if you want to deploy it here, also you have to understand the GitHub, because here GitHub link will be needed. So I have already pushed this code to the GitHub. That is the reasons you already get that lecture by lecture code. Right. So if you don't know about the GitHub, simply go to that github.com. Here create one of the new account, and after that here you will create one of the repository. Here that will be one of the new, that is a new repository. You have to create another new repository, and then you have to actually create the name. Whatever the name actually choose, you can actually create it, and after that you have to make it as a public. That means that is a public site, and here you have to create that repository. And after that create the repository, you will may get this type of one of the things. I show you what things you will be needed. So that will be your total project. And right, so into this project area here, you have to work with one of the software that is called that as a Git Bash software. So that will be needed here. If you go to simply their official website, that is one of the simple software. You have to download it from to this link, and you have to install it in your system. And after that install it, you will get this type of one of the things. Okay, here this type of one of the Git Bash here, that will be this type of one of the things you will be get. So I have already run it, so you will get these things, and here whatever the repository you will be created, it will be also provided one of the link, and then one by one you have to actually run this like as a git or and then init, and simply go there and you have to run it as a git.init, and you have to press as enter, and then you have to run another command that will be the git add dot. So here simply copy it, and then you have to simply add that things in here, that will be the git add. Okay, and then you have to run another command, and what exactly the repository you have created, GitHub also will be provided one of the link. So this type of one of the link here should be provided. Okay, so right now for me as a Next.js portfolio website .git, and if you go here and you can see that is actually my link. So in GitHub, when you create some of the repository, automatically it will be created one of the repository for you, and in that case after that you have to simply add the things in here, and then your total things, that is git remote add and origin https. That means that is your link here. You have to copy it, and then you have to simply paste it in here and pressing that enter. And after that your last command will be as a git push u and then origin master. And when you run this command, then all that your localhost file, so that is our localhost all that file, and that is the file will be automatically uploaded in your repository. So that will be actually display that things like that way. And here I hope you already noticed they have the 2 folder is not available. If you go to our local storage, into this local storage, git is not available, and that is the next, that is folder is not available, and also the node module is not available. it because of all here, if you go by default, as I told you before, into this project you will also get as a git ignore, and by default this file here, you can see when that will be as a slash as a node module, that means this folder will be not, this dependency will be not uploaded to the git, and also there is a .next, and this next folder will be not uploaded. And that is the reasons our two of this folder is not available in particular our repository. Okay, so I hope you already now able to upload your total project to the repository. When you upload it, you may get this type of all that file structure in here. Only you have to remember your repository name. And now I want to deploy it. So if you want to deploy, I want to deploy it in our Netlify. You can also use it, same things for the Vercel. But right now I want to choose it as a Netlify, and also here most important things, our database. So our database is the live server, right? Here into this live, our MongoDB Atlas we are using, and here I have already called everything, right? If you go to that our database, and if you go here, you can see I have already loaded that our database will be into the live position. So here that will be not an issue, because here I am not using and that MongoDB that is a compass. So that is that will be store all that our database table in particular the local host. But right now I am already make that things before into the live server. So now here our database will be loaded from here. That will be totally work. Okay, so now our only file that will be needed as this one. So now I want to deploy it. So here first job I hope you already completed is simply create the repository and upload your total project to the Git. And now our next job will be we have to go to that netlify.com. From here simply sign up. It's totally free. Simply put your email address and password, then you will be able to log in. So right now I want to do until logging. I have already created one of the account, and now you can see I have already deployed one of the projects, so that is a project is visible. So now I want to deploy our, that is the portfolio website. Here I want to deploy it. So if you want to deploy it, in that case, first job is here we have to simply go to that add a new site and import an existing project. Here I simply select it. I want to deploy it from to the GitHub. You can simply take it from to the GitLab and Bitbucket. But right now I want to take it from to the GitHub. So now if you have to select it, and now that will be authorization. Okay, so you can see right now our authorization is automatically I have actually get it. Or when you doing that things for the first time, you may get this type of one of the interface. Okay, here you may get this type of one of the things. Here you have to make it as a authorized Netlify. Okay, here that will be your first part, and also after that here that will be our another option as a all repository you want to take it, or rather than you can also select it as a only selected one repository. So this type of one of the interface you may also get it. Okay, so right now I want to do, that is our previously I have already get it, but you may get this type of one of the things. Here you have to actually select it as a only select one repository. When you select it as a select only one repository, then it will be asked from here you have to simply add your name. Like for now, for me, I have created that our name as a Next.js portfolio website, right? If you go to that my Git, and into this Git my project name as a Next.js portfolio website, right? Here in that case you have to actually search it in here, and you have to select it, and you will be display that things like that way. From here you have to select it. So when you select it, and after that you have to simply add that button as an install button. I hope friend the concept is very clear. So there is the three things you will be needed when you make it as a GitHub. First of all, you have to make it as a authorization with the Netlify. Then you have to simply add that if you have that multiple project, then you can actually select it as a select repository, rather than if you select it as a all repository into this your GitHub area. If that have multiple repository, all the repository will be included into the Netlify. But for me here, I will suggest it to select it as a only select repository. From here that will be as a select repository on the form. Here you have to select it. So when you select it, from here you have to search it, whatever the repository name you have actually added for this portfolio website. Here simply select it, and then you have to install it. And after that install, you will get this type of one of the things. Okay, here after that install, you will get these things, and then your next job will be here. You have to select it, and then you have to also that will be team. So right now my team, when I create this account, I name it by the name as a easy team, and that will be our site name. I want to create one of the unique our URL, so that will be also important. So I name it as a portfolio. Okay, portfolio or Next.js portfolio. I want to use it as a Next.js portfolio, and then website. Okay, I make it as a web site. So that will be our total URL as a Next.js portfolio website dot as a Netlify app. And we have to also check it, this is available or not. And yes, you can see this site name is available, which will be very fine. So that will be your first job, and rest of everything that will be just like that same. Automatically that will be run that your build command, that is a publish, it will be published that your .next folder, and functionality everything will be same. Here we don't need to do anything. Okay, rest of everything will be just like that same. And then we have to simply click it into the deployment. So deployment, our next portfolio website that I have named it. Now if you have that add environment variable, you can add these things from here, but right now I don't need it. I want to deploy it. So here it's now may take little time. It will be deploy your total project. So what exactly that will be do? Here you can see it's now actually doing that as a site deploying in progress. So now that is actually progressing our site deployment. Here if you go and from to this position, that is a binding, that is a building, and it's now actually building by some of the command. Like here you can see that is a deploy command, that is the initialization, and that is a first of all that will be do the installation or initialization, all that process, and after that that will be run that another command as a building. I hope you already remember in a localhost, if you, when I discuss about that in our fundamental, when you run it as a npm run build, then that will be actually building your this next folder, right? Here that will be actually created our this folder, that means .next folder. Right, so here actually it will be actually now run all the things from here automatically, and you can see there is a initialization is the completed, and building process it may take little time. So now it's actually building our total project in here, and after that will be do cleanup as a deployment, and then cleanup and then post response processing. Okay, so it will be actually work one by one. So now our next process is working as a building. So here it's actually working. Okay, and you can see everything is done. So right now our initialization is successfully done, building is successfully done, deployment is done, and cleanup is also completed, and the post process is completed. So now everything is totally fine. So now if you want to check it, you can actually check it. We have to simply go to that our project. That means here I want to go there that I have already created, and you can see that is our name as a HTTP as our next portfolio website .netlify. So now if you open it, now let's check this out. Here you can see it's actually getting some of the error as the application error, a server side exception has occurred. It because of all right now our name will be which one here, our name will be as a this one, right? Here better I copy that our URL, and now if you go to that our project, and into this project if you go to that our app and then admin, because here before I have created this project into the our which position, I have created this project in our local storage. So local storage everything I have configured it. If you go to that our app, and that is our pages, and you can see I have actually fetched this data throughout our local storage 300. Right, so now we need to change it here. Now that should be I have already deployed it to our Netlify, and into this Netlify now that should be our URL will be this one, not that our local storage, because before I have already run this our project into our local storage. So now better I want to close my server. Okay, here right now I don't need this. I want to better close it. Okay, close it. I make it as a yes, and now here I want to change it. Okay, here I want to change that our name, that will be now our main one, so that will be /. So now that will be our next and the Next.js portfolio website .netlify.app / our API. Okay, so now that will be not our local storage, that will be our web server. So web server link that I have already generated, we have to add it in here. That's all you have to do. Now click as a save all. So right now I have only used that our local storage 300 in particular this page. Here I configure it. So now I simply updated it one place. So if you have that multiple place, you have to update it into the multiple place area. So for me now I have only used that things in one place. Now that is totally fine. So right now here I have updated that things in my local storage, right? So but here I didn't update it into this our that is our GitHub area. So here we have to now push it again to the GitHub. So here if you want to push it, in that case we have to run it. First of all, I want to check that our status. So that will be the git status, and you can see I have changed it into this our pages, and now I want to add it. So that will be another command as a git add command. I make it as a git add, and after that will be our another command as a git commit. So I want to make it as a update. Okay, update URL. So I name it as a update URL. Now click as a enter, and now here after that we have to simply push it to our GitHub by the command as a git push ou and then origin master. Now click as a enter. Now that should be updated. You can see now that is successfully updated to this our GitHub. And into this GitHub area, now that is updated. And now if you refresh it, okay, I want to refresh it. And now if you go to that our src and into this our app, and into this app area, that is our pages, and into this pages you can see now that is also successfully updated in my Git, right? That means now that is successfully updated our appropriate our URL. Now let's check this out. I want to go back to that here, and now if you go, now that should be also display that our update. If you now refresh it, and now if you go to that our site configuration, and into this site configuration you can see it's now successfully displayed as a 3 minutes ago. I have already updated. Now I want to check it here. If you now go, now our site that should be running. Yes, you can see now that is successfully running and everything is successfully deployed into the web server, right? But they have some of our logo CSS is missing. Here simply you have to update that. So simply put some of the CSS for make this size as the appropriate size. Now that is successfully working. If you go to that about or all the data, you can see that is all that our database data, right? So that is all the data is now successfully loaded, and that is the experience data is loaded, education data is loaded, my project which I have already checked it in my local storage. Now that is the same things is executed in our live server. Okay, and there is a contact and everything is worked successfully. There is also a button CSS now we need to update, but rest of everything is fine. And also I want to check it our admin is working or not. Right now our previous one here, but I want to access it as a /admin. Now our admin, yes, you can see admin panel is working, and from here if you want to log in with our username and password, now click as a login. Now we should able to also, yes, you can see now we are also able to access that our admin panel, all the data. You can also now from here you can actually change it as per your demand. There is a education is loaded, the project is loaded, the contact is loaded, right? Here if you go to that our home, from here if you want to make it as a new, okay, name it as a new, and now if you click as a save changes, now that is successfully updated in our live database. That means in our MongoDB Atlas area, that will be automatically updated, and now that should be also updated in here. If you now refresh it, you can see that is successfully updated. Okay friend, so everything is fine, only the image logo. So here actually you have to put some of the style sheet for make these things as the appropriate position, but right now the rest of everything, all that our database data is working. Okay, great. So how to deploy some of the React Next.js project to the live server with the database? I hope friend it's very clear to you. So that is our front end, and also we successfully able to access that our back end. Now log out, that is successfully log out. Great. I hope you like it very much. So from to the next video we'll start our another big journey. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.